And a good Wednesday. The Mariners could not hold a lead in Cincinnati last night, falling to the Reds 8-4. Despite a stellar game from Dylan Moore, Luis Castillo had a hard time finding the strike zone, and when he did, Cincinnati batters swatted the ball around the park.
Well, the Mariners coming off a tremendous homestand, 5-1, and it really felt like, especially in that Rangers series, of course a sweep, Mariners had by and large everything going their way. As this is lifted out to center field, this is backed by the wall, and this is well done. Dylan Moore, just 2 pitches into this ball game, goes out to nearly dead center field, and the Mariners on the board right away, 1-0, and that was a blast. 429. Well, a day that this man has waited for a long time. Ben Williamson walking into a big league batter's box for the first time in his life. Line through the left side for a base hit. Ben Williamson, in his first big league plate appearance, ropes a single to left field in Cincinnati. Hit hard through the left side base hit. Williamson scores. Crawford advances into second base, and Dylan Moore is 2 for 2. Another screamer off his bat. Well, the Mariners extend the lead in the second inning.
And fastball counts. This is what you have to do to compete. Rolled up the middle. That is through, base hit. Trevino waved on. He scores. McLean takes third. The first run for the Reds on a base hit by Gavin Lux. That is hard hit and through. Game tied. The first hit is a Red. The first RBI is a Red. Austin Hayes in effect. It's tied at 2.
Crawford is on at first base. Here's Dylan Moore having a great night. The pitch on the way, swinging a fly ball deep to left field. Dylan having a greater night. Goodbye baseball. His second home run of the ball game. Dylan Moore with a leadoff home run in the first. He had an RBI single in the second. And now Dylan with another home run with JP aboard. And Dylan with 4 runs batted in tonight. And the Mariners lead the Reds 4-2. It is the night of nights for Dylan Moore. Wow.
Bounce left side. That is through, base hit. Wave is on. A test of a Rosarena. He comes to the plate. McLean scores. Ball gets away. David Cruz flies for third. Lux up to second. It's a 1-run game. Second and third. Set in the air, deep center. Rodriguez going way back. That is gone. Dead center in his debut. The Reds ahead on a Hayes homer. Welcome to Cincinnati.
And it's taken a while, tax day, for him to make his debut.
That's an early refund of the time lost.
I'm telling you.
Dead center. Friedel and Steen retreat at the wall. The Cincinnati Reds have won 4 in a row, and they are over 500 for the first time since the 1st of May, 2024.
Manager Dan Wilson says it was a rough outing for Castillo.
You know, it's tough, you know, when you pitch from behind, and you know, they were able to get some of those big hits when they needed them. Yeah, I thought, you know, similar tonight, just wasn't able to, you know, to get ahead and command the zone, command the count, and take control of the at bat, and you know, that's really where, you know, he had a little bit of trouble tonight. I mean, you know, it's a tough one there. I think, you know, Rock comes through in a lot of those situations, and you know, we've seen it time and time again, and you know, I think he was still at about 85 pitches, 87 pitches, something like that. So there was still some left in the tank. You know, obviously, you know, they were able to convert there and take the lead. So it's just, you know, just weren't able to you know, to get enough offense going later in the game to kind of get that lead back, and you know, that was a tough one.
Seattle and Cincinnati are playing again today, game 2 of the 3-game set. That's on Root Sports Northwest. While the Mariners were losing, the rest of the American League West was winning. Well, except for 2 teams playing each other. Athletics bombed the White Sox 12-3. Houston shut out St. Louis 2-0. Texas blanked the Angels 4-0 to move into first place in the division. Seattle Kraken ended the season on a losing note last night, falling to Los Angeles 6-5. Seattle let the Kings grab a 6-2 lead before the Kraken began a comeback and nearly forced overtime. The game was broadcast on ESPN.
Here he is on a bind-in looking for Beniers. He got all the way through towards Schwartz. Now Alexiak. Schwartz scores! One out for Schwartz. Schwartz for Eberle. Spins it back around for Matty Beniers. Vince Dunn moved it for McCann. Eberle. Backdoor. Beniers scores! It's a 2-goal game. Kings ram it around the wall. Cut off by Burakovsky on the keep. Now Vince Dunn, right for Tolman, and they score! 1-goal game with 29 seconds to go. Off the faceoff, it's one back to Dunn with a shot that got blocked. Swallowed up by Kempe, and the Kings hang on and win it on the road in Seattle.
Dan Bilesma said he felt his team was going to force that overtime, but once again fell just short.
I would have been a betting man to say we were going to get the 6-1 to tie it up and win the game in overtime or shootout. But again, a kind of a microcosm of our season. At the end, a disappointment and us not being able to be a playoff team, be a team that's contending for the playoffs and get into the playoffs, and but a team that in the last 19 games showed a lot of fight and resiliency and playing together, playing as a team, and kind of proving and hoping we can be a good team in the future.
Kraken finished 7th in the Western Conference, out of the playoffs for the 2nd straight season. For only the 3rd time since 2021, the Wenatchee Panthers beat the Moses Lake Mavericks last night. Raiden Haynes pitched a complete game and had 2 hits to lead Wenatchee over Moses Lake 4-2. James Butler drove in 2 of Wenatchee's runs as the Panthers did just enough to get the win. I was alongside Brandon Schmitten with a call here on the NCWLIFE channel. He doesn't have to go, but he will, and the pitch swung on and hit off the pitcher, bounces behind second base, throw to first is offline, run's going to score. Meanwhile, rounding first and heading for second is Butler, and the Butler-Butler exchange collects a run for Wenatchee. They lead it 1-0. We did talk with Donnie Lindgren before the ball game, and he said, I just want to keep Wenatchee under 10. This pitch swung on and fisted into right center field. That's going to drop down for a base hit. Rounding third and heading for home will be the runner James Butler, and he will score, making it a 2-0 ball game. Wenatchee on top. Runner out at second base is Munoz, and this pitch swung on a fly ball right over the head of the shortstop, so that will score a run. And Moses Lake is going to cut the lead in half as center fielder Owen Irvin bobbling the ball out there allows the runner to move from first to second. So it was an RBI single for Purcell. He's missing over. He's missing a little high, and the Panthers have been able to put it in play here. Here's another pitch that swung on. Run. Fly ball to left field, right to Purcell. Runner from third tags and no throw home. And another run's going to score. The Panthers increase their lead to 3-1. Pitch on the way. Swung on and a fly ball over the shortstop's head and running around third and heading for home. The run is going to score on an RBI single by Munoz, and it's a 1-run game, 3-2. Moses Lake trailing now. Back there again with all the confidence in the world. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Misses outside, goes all the way to the backstop. Runner from third, breaks for home. Throw home, not in time. Wenatchee extends their lead to 4-2. 1 out, 2 aboard. Pitch on the way, swung on a grounder to the shortstop. Double play chance, flip to second for 1. The relay to first is in time, and that will retire the side.
When you have that, that's a definite benefit too.
Moses Lake bringing the winning run to the plate, or the tying run to the plate, but it will be erased quickly on a bounding ball to Brock Toftus. He will step over and tow the bag, and that will be it as the Wenatchee Panthers knock off Moses Lake in the first of 3 meetings between these two clubs. 4-2 is our final. In other prep baseball Tuesday, East Valley blanked Ephrata 14-0. Othello shut out Quincy 10-zip. Natchez Valley swept Cashmere 15-10 and 4-2. Chelan got by Brewster 5-2, and Omak 10-run to Cascade 15-3. Eastmont fast pitch softball team split to doubleheader with West Valley yesterday, dropping the opener 2-1, winning the nightcap 16-1. Wenatchee edged Eisenhower Star 8-7. Ephrata topped Toppenish 13-3. Ephrata blast Toppenish 20-0. Kashmir swept Natchez Valley 8-4 and 11-7. And Bridgeport beat Manson 21-11. Wenatchee boys soccer team got back on the winning track last night, downing Sunnyside 3-0. Moses Lake shut out Eastmont 1-0. Quincy edged Prosser 3-2. Ephrata stopped Sela 2-1. Kashmir crushed Natchez Valley 6-0. Brewster beat Cascade 3-0. Chelan topped Tonasket 4-3, and it was Omak over Oroville 2-0. Okanagan beat Bridgeport by a final of 2-1. That's a look at sports news. I'm Eric Granstrom. Have a happy Wednesday.